Friends, it's Ty Frederick from Broken Road Ranch. All about the good of the horse for the glory of God. Hope you're well. Well, listen, you may be wondering what's up, because there's no horses anywhere in this video, and kind of a strange video intro there. Well, I'd like to welcome you to the first ever episode of CSI Montana. I promise it'll be better than CSI Miami. And only about half as cheesy. Well, a big mystery happened this week. My wonderful children were playing last week in the indoor arena and in the barn a lot, because we were having a bit of a spring blizzard. It was a bit chilly, and they got to play indoors, and maybe their parents loosely supervised them. Maybe a little too loosely. Come Monday morning when the sun shone, it appeared there was a broken window. Now, upon asking about said window, my children wanted me to believe some story about a bird that became petrified, lost its sense of direction, and flew through the window. It turned out to be partly true. The bird was petrified. But he was petrified because my children were chasing him around and trying to hit him with a rock. Fortunately for him, they have bad aim. Unfortunately for him, the barn cat had good aim. However, that brings me kind of to what I want to talk about with you today, And that is confession. You see, when I went to talk to my lovely children, what they wanted to do was kind of minimize, lessen, maybe make a few stories up. Now, I padded the story a little bit to have some fun, but they certainly did not tell me the truth right off, I can guarantee you that. Now, Proverbs 28:13 tells us, "He who covers his sin will not prosper, but whoever confesses and forsakes them will find mercy." Now, this is true. My kids didn't want to forsake or confess, either one, and therefore we had to have a bit of discipline. And when we had a bit of discipline, then we found confession. And upon confession, they found mercy. Now, in that process, I realized I think they got that from me. You know, my immediate reaction upon discovering my sin, and they are many, is not to want to confess and forsake. It's to want to cover and minimize and say, well, I only did it because, or hey, that guy over there is worse, right? Maybe you're a little bit like that. I'm a lot like that. But Psalm 38:18 says, "I will declare my iniquity, and I will be in anguish over my sin." That's the heart of confession. Declaring, agreeing with God, what I did was wrong. No ifs, ands, or buts. No excuses. No minimizations. And being in anguish over my sin. Being heartbroken over my sin. And it may be that we have to ask God to break our hearts, that we would experience some of the pain that our sin has caused him. And in that, we find mercy. 1 John 1:8 and 9, it's very familiar to a lot of us, says that if we say we have no sin, we deceive ourselves, and the truth is not in us. We can deceive ourselves even, my friends. That's pretty remarkable. But if we confess our sins, God is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to purify us from all unrighteousness. That sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Confess, and he forgives. Now, it may be that the sin that you have to confess, the sin that you've been convicted over, maybe it's your 10,000th time. Guess what? God has mercy for 10,000 more and beyond. So, my friend, come to Him. Beg Him to break your heart for what's breaking His. Be in anguish over your sin. Ask for forgiveness. Receive it and move on. What an awesome thing it is that God offers to us free and unconditional forgiveness, merely for the asking. Let's declare our sin. Let's ask for forgiveness. Let's be broken over our sins. Job 42, verse 5 tells us what will happen when we confess and forsake and are broken over our sin. This comes on the heels of 4 chapters where God has been confronting Job for his arrogance. And I'm going to be honest with you, Job is way more a man of character than I'll ever be. The anguish that he's going through in this moment is indescribable and beyond what I can understand. But even in this moment, God says, you've been arrogant. You've not spoken rightly of me. And God convicts him. And Job, as he repents, as he confesses, he says, I have heard of you with the hearing of my ears, but now my eye sees you. In forgiveness, in confession, leading to forgiveness, my friends, we go into a brand new experience of seeing and experiencing God. As different as hearing the Grand Canyon, which has its own majesty, certainly, and seeing the Grand Canyon. What a stark difference. And God stands and invites us to confess our sins, to receive mercy and forgiveness, and to be cleansed from all unrighteousness, and in the process to see Him more clearly. Let's do it, my friends. Let's run to our God. Let's get on our knees. Let's beg that our hearts will be broken for what breaks His. And let's receive that mercy, and let's receive that vision of who God is that we have yet to see. God bless you, my friends. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.